Okay, this is the old band, The Fifth Dimension, and the album is called somewhere Reflections. Okay, so it's Reflections of the Fifth Dimension. And the second album I've got by them is strangely titled The Worst Thing That Could Happen, The Fifth Dimension. So the jacket I'm wearing is an old jacket from Woodstock Hall, and I don't know if you can get to that. Try and give it to you. But it was my alma mater, McMaster University in Hamilton, Ontario, and I used to wear this jacket all over Hamilton. I'm not going to tell you how many years ago it was, but it was easily 30 years ago. Okay, so what we're going to talk about with the fifth dimension is, I guess, the best and the worst, okay? So Lee Harris Energy is saying what you should do is plan out your year ahead, what you want to see, and your 7 year. It's the start of a new 7 year cycle. So for me and my associates, for this year, we're going to be focusing on basically nothing. And as far as the 7 year plan, we're going to focus on absolutely nothing. Why is that? Because we don't follow Lee Harris Energy. In a previous video, we said he likes to charge money for people to get into his, elite group, special access, special stuff. And we're not about elitism. We're not about charging. So we're not going to be too much concerned about that. And we don't do plan. As I said in my previous video today, we don't do logical. We do moment to moment. Moment to moment, moment to moment, see what happens. So there's no planning for a 7 year cycle. We don't want any more cycles. It was a few weeks ago, Bob Frizzell, our producer, came on and said, we're getting rid of cycles. We don't want any more cycles. We want to break this constant reference to astrology, to cycles, to David Wilcock and his synchronicity key and time cycles. We want to break out of all this. We don't want any more cyclical living. This is basically what the Buddha did. Get out of cyclical living, reincarnation, death and reincarnation. We don't want that anymore. What we want is perfecting the body and moving on to higher and higher frequencies, okay? And how you do that is you stay moment to moment and you don't get locked into planning. If Lee Harris tells you you want a 1 year and a 7 year plan, then you're taking yourself out of the moment. You're for the next 7 years, you're focused on what you've planned today. That's ridiculous. That's totally opposite to any normal good spiritual teaching. A good spiritual teacher tells you, be open moment to moment to see what synchronicity and serendipity bring you. And if you're locked into some idea that, you got to get here and go there, sorry, it's like booking yourself for the next 7 years. You've got everything pre-booked. So, your life is pre-planned and there's no room for anything new to come into your life. Why don't you do that? Because it doesn't allow for anything new. It means you're so booked up that if somebody new that you happen to meet someday decides to, they ask you, let's go on a date, you can't because you're too busy because you pre-booked everything in your life down to the last second. So maybe that's an extreme. It's not an extreme. Now, in the past, I've made sort of ideas about what I want to see happen in the world. But, it keeps coming back to me. The metaphysical teacher, Stuart Wilde, always said, don't lean into what you want because it drives it away. So in the back of my head, I've got different ideas of things that would be nice that have been brought to me. And, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. But we're not leaning on it. We're not leaning on it. And, it's not like we're not buying lessons, okay? We're not buying lessons from gurus, and we're not buying lessons off of all the endless internet advertisements for this, that, and the next thing. I mean, every time you turn on YouTube, I listen to different things, and it's just a constant barrage of advertising, targeted advertising. And no, I'm not going there. I mean, I have done it in the past, And what did I get out of it? Nothing. Nothing good happened because of it. And I was kicking my team members for signing me up, wasting my money. Okay, so because I allow things. Okay, we'll try it, but everyone agreed at the end. What did we get? We got a new name. Okay, a new alter ego. So I guess we got something out of it. But did we agree with what the teacher said? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The teacher is all about capitalism and making money. And even though this one recognizes that it's wrong, it's go along to get along. So, this one is teaching other people go along to get along, keep going with the same shitty old system. We're not about that. We've never been about that. hmm I guess when I was young, it was about, joining the crew and, trying to make my way in society. But it's not about that anymore because, it's so broken. Everything is so broken. Every day I see stuff it just disgusts me. It just disgusts me. I can't believe the same kind of things are going on now that were problems 25 years ago. You know, Today it was logging of old growth forests in British Columbia, and it was the Canadian government attacking First Nations, Indigenous people in British Columbia because they want to build an oil pipeline. It's just endless, endless, same garbage that should have been learned a long time ago, and a lot of people got it, but the people that are running the world don't get it, and they're still beholden to the capitalists who are all about profits over people, greed, 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 and increasing GNP so that they can. What do they do with it? The average Joe, the wages don't keep up with inflation, and the quality of living sucks, and there's no advancement. There's nothing good happening in this world because these people are still in control. And if it was me, I would kick them over like it was a great big anthill. You know, Sorry, ants, but it's just like something you have to do a roundhouse to. And how am I going to do it? Me, all I can do is talk about it. Because what am I going to do? One little person. This is what my father says. My father basically is submitted to it, and I guess personally, do I submit to it? Well, what am I going to do about it? You know, Alvin Lee and 10 Years After, their famous song was, "I'd love to change the world, but I don't know how, and so I leave it up to you." And how do I buy into that totally? Well, no. I talk about it. I don't seem to get too many people listening, but I'm doing my part. I'm talking. I can't grab people by the head and bash them together and say, listen, listen, listen. If you don't want to listen, that's my pitch for today.